The four core streams approach is a component of the model because at Headspace we think it's important to have a holistic sense of care for a young person. From your perspective as a clinical lead, how do you see these streams contribute to the physical and mental health of a young person?
I think they're essential, and I think it's so great that they're a part of the model. I think it's difficult to put into practice in particular centres. So we're in a metro area where one of the central headspaces in Perth, and that can make it really difficult to recruit GPs, sexual health staff, those kind of things. The physical health aspect has been really difficult for us to recruit because they can have a private practice 2 minutes down the road, and so that's a really big challenge for us as a centre to make sure that we're offering those core streams. Trying to get, again, AOD co-location has been a challenge for us and something which we're continuing to work on with other services. But as a clinical lead, it is hard to be able to offer the services when you might not have the linkage with those services. So it's a work in progress for us.
And it changes too with funding, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because an NGO that you did have as a co-located service that came into you can in the next round lose their funding, or their criteria changes. We had somebody that was co-located with us and then they were told they were only to see people over 18 and got removed as an AOD service. So it's a constant requirement to be looking out and working to build those networks and pathways as a clinical lead. I think that is a big part of our job, is constantly be looking out for opportunities and for services to create those linkages. And in the country areas, often there aren't all those other services necessarily, even more so for our rural and remote services. I know in Port Augusta, for example, for those services, they are often the only service, and they do the best and often have to utilise online services, as we do too. Yeah.
There's no doubt that having a multi-pronged and multidisciplinary approach will more likely lead to good outcomes. But also having the variety of services to, I suppose, fit to where young people are at. For example, we know that young people coming to certainly my centre are not coming there predominantly for drug and alcohol counselling. And in fact, it's under 4%. It's a negligible number that the front say, this is the reason why I'm coming. However, if you start unpacking what they are up to and you find out, that they're actually quite heavily involved in substance use, you may be able to have, conversations about, well, why don't you catch up with one of our drug and alcohol counsellors just for one session? You don't even have to make any decisions on whether you want to change or not. So you have the option, I suppose. So therefore, you can meet people wherever they are. So it's a richer tapestry, I suppose, of provision of care. To get practitioners to respect and appraise that variety can be challenging, particularly with clinicians who have the sense that they have to do it all, in their own kind of way and in their own time. So to encourage, collaboration in practice is one of the things that I do a lot of, and similarly to, because often, the co-located providers are there for a day a week, if that, and to get them really to be feeling part of the community of practice is really challenging in that short period. And then that means if they're not really established and the referrals don't come in, then they get cranky, then they reduce their time, instead doing the opposite of what they actually should do, which is to be there for 2 or 3 days to actually drum up business. So there are a number of challenges. But again, overall, absolutely, these are not outweighing the benefits that you have from, collaborative care.